We are on part 2 of our YouTube series. So if you happen to miss part 1, where I share how to find keywords on a budget, you can find the link to that below in this episode because it's something that you don't want to miss. It's super easy, very low level keyword research finding. I feel like it can be very extreme. And so I wanted to share how I do it, which is very, very low level keyword research, and it works. So there you go. But today we are talking about something that many content creators and entrepreneurs don't realize plays an essential role in boosting your SEO performance, and that is your website structure. A well-structured site, so this is your full website, affects how search engines index your pages and ultimately how much traffic your content receives. Okay, did you hear that? Well-structured sites affect how search engines index your pages, and that affects the traffic that you receive. By paying attention to your SEO-friendly site structure, you're a creator. So we can make sure that your hard work pays off. Okay. And we're going to jump into this because it's a big one. Okay. And I have a checklist for you with this and resources that I'm going to link below where you can find everything that I'm talking about in these resources. So check those out if you're interested. Just a little nugget there. But here we go, because site structure, lots of fun. And again, this is how search engines determine if it's relevant or not. So the first thing is your homepage, because I'm going to be honest with you. People, when they search something, they normally go to a certain page. But if you're telling people about your site, your actual, really your number one visited page is kind of your homepage. And so your homepage needs to be structured in a way for SEO purposes. And so this makes it the most valuable page for you to put real estate on this of where you want people to go. So any content that you want to rank or is most important content should never be more than 1 to 2 clicks away from your homepage. It's shown that if you link to something inside of, and this gets into kind of next week's, but Google looks at links that you have on pages. You're showing authority to these pages when you link to them. So you want to show authority to your most popular content. What's important to people for people to find? You need to be able to link to those quickly. You want to make sure that your homepage is not just a blog post feed of your latest content. You want it to be a static thing that you actually created, that you made it look a certain way because you want it to be customized. You want links to your content that are easy to find. And you can list your most recent post if you want at the bottom. That's actually what I do for, That's what I could do for 2 Feet First, my DIY one. So I'm going to kind of tell you, because you can't see it, what I do. So at the very beginning, I follow the Story Brand book by Jonathan Miller. So I like to follow what he does. And so what that is at the very top, I want to tell people what my site is about. And this site in particular, my 2 Feet First one, is transform your home into something you love. I say that right at the beginning. I want people to be able to transform their home into something they love. So I tell them about that, and then I have a button that I want them to go to first. And then I share important categories that people might like. I share my site, my shop for woodworking plans and all that kind of stuff. And then I share my most popular content. And I break this up per categories, but I actually link to things here. So I'll have the title of it and linking with that. And it just keeps going. So whatever you want people to be able to find quickly on your site, you need a link here. And it's very important to put those most popular content pieces linked in your homepage. The easiest way to say this is if you have never been to your site before and you want help with whatever you're trying to solve, you as a person coming to your site for the first time want to be able to get questions answered and solve problems quickly, and you want to be directed to the most important things that you need. So remember that as you're creating it. Think of it as your audience. How can you help your audience? And guess what? That is actually what Google wants the most, is they want you to help the audience. They want you to help the people that are searching for whatever they're searching for. So show Google what's important. Show them where you want your audience to go, and allow your audience to get there by customizing your homepage. We talked about those category pages that I was kind of telling you about. So those themselves actually also need to be customized. It's a great idea to add keywords in there, link to more pages in there that are important, and just kind of make its own directory of things that are important in there as well. And you want to be descriptive, again, keywords with that. And I have an example in the resources that I'm providing you. Another thing that you want to do is use breadcrumbs. Now, if you don't know what this is, it's at the very top. It's the row of internal links that allows a visitor to quickly link back to something previous. So let's say you are looking for SEO stuff, right? So you're getting into site structure at this point. There's going to be a link back to like SEO as a category. So you can click back to that, just as kind of a side note. So you want to make sure you use breadcrumbs, and that's normally super easy to add on to most, I would assume most. With what I use WordPress, and it is inside of my SEO plugin that I use. And so I just have it clicked on. I don't have to worry about it. It does it itself. And then the next thing that you want to do is make sure that you use a sitemap for search engines. And this is an XML sitemap. And if you were here for last week's, the number one or first part of the series, I talked about Google Search Console. And this is where you would add in that sitemap so Google can actually find your content. So make sure that you do that too. Again, that is through the plugin that I use for my WordPress site, and that is Yoast SEO is the one I use. Next thing is your link structure. So there are different ways that you can do it, but make sure it's easy. People sometimes make it complicated where you have like your site name dot one, the year dot, and that was like old blog. Like that was what mine was back in the day, was a blog structure where you would have the date with it. And I had to go back and fix all those. That was kind of a pain, but you want it to be simple. And also with that simple, and I think I talk about this more in the site or number 3 series, but you want it to just be like descriptive, and we'll talk about that more. I'm pretty sure I talk about that. If not, I will add it in. So just simple structure for links. Oh, look, here we go. I'm going to talk about it now, actually. Sorry, I should check my notes. So simple URLs is important. And this is to ensure that the URL is focused, meaning that you want to strip any filler words like of, the, are, have, and anything else, the et ceteras, that are not applicable to it. So a good rule of thumb is that if a word doesn't help describe the page, it can be removed. So let's do an example of this actual title of this one that I'm talking about. Like it's called right now, Unlocking the Power of SEO Through Site Structure. I would pare this down and it would just be SEO site structure would be the URL for this page on my site. So you just want to pare it down so it still describes it, but as little words as possible. You want to keep it easy enough to read, but also as small as possible. And focus keywords you want them inside the URL too for SEO purposes, obviously. So if I go back to that example that I just gave you, I have SEO, and I have site structure. So the three things that I'm pointing on today are all in that URL. And you also need hyphens in these, but luckily if you have WordPress, I think most of them do this, you can just type in the word like you normally would, and it will add them in there for you. There isn't an ideal length of URLs, but again, it's recommended to keep it as short as possible and remove any unnecessary words. So that's just as a side note with this site structure. Next is the 401 pages. So these are the pages that don't go anywhere. If you type in a link and it says like 401, you have an issue, right? It's recommended that you actually customize this. And there's different ways to do this. It just depends on what you're using. There's plugins for this on WordPress, for example, but you want to make sure that it links back to your home page, and you can provide any links that maybe are popular that people are normally searching for. So just kind of keep that in mind. You could put related content, but make sure it links back to your homepage. Something that we're just going to kind of touch on, this is the last thing for this, is cornerstone content. And you want to think of this like as an important series. So it's a comprehensive search term that you're hoping to rank for. And you're going to write one that you write multiple posts about, like a category. So it's essentially like a category, but I'm going to just keep going and then I'll give you examples. Cornerstone content has supporting articles that link to the Cornerstone page, along with pages within the Cornerstone content. It is the anchor to your successful keyword and link structure strategies. Okay, so this Cornerstone content, let's say you want to link to this from your homepage because you want to rank for this big keyword. Let's think of something very big like SEO, researching SEO, right? How to keyword research. That's a big one. That's a big keyword. So that could be my cornerstone content. And what I would do then is add inside this page for this cornerstone content is I'm going to add different tips and resources to help you achieve the keyword research. So that would be like the series that I'm creating right now. All of this would be linked inside of that to help the audience, where each of these would have their own page as well, where I'd link to that page. Hopefully this makes sense. A good way to also do it is, I'm going to just explain it as like a recipe, for example. Let's say you want to rank well for muffins, and that is like a category, right? Muffins. But inside this, you could have blueberry muffins, raspberry muffins. You can keep going with all of those. That is called like a keystone content, is to think of it like a category. And we could keep going with that, but we're just going to leave it there. But that is how I like to structure my site, making sure that I am sharing the most important information first on my homepage, and then making it easy for people to navigate to where they need to go. I want somebody to be able to quickly come on my site, like this site, like 2 Feet First Entrepreneur, for example. I just revamped mine because I wasn't loving it. Because somebody told me, like, how do I find your one-on-one coaching? And I thought, oh my gosh, it's so easy to find. And then I went to my page and I thought, okay, you have to click away. Like, you have to click something to go to the next thing. So now it is right when you first get on, it says private coaching is a button. Services are pronounced really big. Getting started is also one, but that's going to change soon. But if you go to this, like, this is kind of what I'm talking about, is trying to link to things. I don't have a lot of content on here yet on the 2 Feet First Entrepreneur site. So it's not as robust as my 2feetfirst.net site is, my home one, just because I don't have as many articles out as I do with the other one, but eventually I'll start building upon that. So I hope that you realize the importance of your site structure for SEO, and that a well-structured will help Google, help search engines easily crawl and index your pages. It'll make it easier for them to know who to show it to, which in turn helps your audience. So I hope that you see that as a benefit. And I hope that you come for next week's, because we will be talking about the actual on-page SEO. So like, this is just for an article. Like, what do you need to do for that article to boost your SEO? So join us for next week's, and I'll see you then.